Stop exploiting Catherine. The Sussexes and their faction are attacking the royal family head-on to hide a dirty secret about invisible children. Hello and a very warm welcome to Kate Middleton and the Queen channel. An interesting article about the whereabouts of Catherine is called "Royals Criticized Over Shifty Princess of Wales Statement as They're Urged to Come Clean Over Kate's Health" by Nancy Brown. Now, in this article, royal author Duncan Larcombe seems to be under the impression that the palace has been less than transparent in addressing the issues involving Catherine's health crisis, specifically why she needs such a long recovery period. I guess he's also upset that we don't know what William's personal reasons were for not attending the memorial of his godfather, the late King of Greece. And he's also upset about why we have not been informed about what the king's precise form of cancer is and how serious it is. Well, perhaps there is still some uncertainty with regards to the king's condition. So according to Duncan Larcombe, for Kensington Palace to just say that Catherine is doing well and that she's going to return to royal duties after Easter, and that any further updates will be provided to the public when something important happens, is simply not enough. So he's demanding to know why there seems to be a big secret, and he believes that the palace would be a lot better off if it just came clean with what's really going on with the 3 members of the royal family. Otherwise, his opinion is the secrecy is going to develop into crazy speculation and conspiracy theories. And moreover, what is going to happen if after Easter, Catherine is still not ready to go back to work? Well, I got an answer to all of this. Personally, I never really thought there was any kind of goings-on happening, because I took whatever the palace had to say at face value. I believe the palace is being honest. They are telling us what we need to know. Now, if Catherine is still not well by Easter, then clearly that just means that she needs more time to recuperate. How complicated is that to understand, and why is that such an issue? Honestly, I suspect a lot of this is coming from Meghan and Harry or their camp. I suspect they are trying to make some trouble to divert attention away from the invisible children, because they are clearly no longer welcome in the royal family and probably not even in Britain. Seriously though, do the royals not deserve to have just a little bit of privacy? I mean, do they have to explain every single aspect of both their private and public lives? Would the average person think it's important to just tell everything regarding everything that he or she does just to satisfy the curiosity of strangers? Absolutely not. Let's rewind a little bit to that Oprah Winfrey interview. You know the one I'm talking about. The whole interview was about trashing the royal family. Meghan and Harry accused the royals of being racist and neglecting a pregnant woman who, as a result, just didn't want to carry on with life. And they said so many other nasty things. Do you not believe that these accusations wouldn't have bothered the royal family and especially the late beloved queen? Well, of course it would have. I know their mantra is keep the stiff upper lip, but privately, of course they were bothered. Of course they were hurt. I do remember reading somewhere that even though Prince Philip in the beginning wasn't happy with the decision of Meghan and Harry to walk away from their roles as senior royals, he finally just accepted the fact. Apparently, he even told his courtier that he hoped that Harry and Meghan could find a more financially lucrative venture in their lives. I can only guess that it was still hurtful to him, though, because he felt like it wasn't a good idea for the monarchy. And who knows whether he may or may not have passed away still holding on to these feelings of disappointment. Meanwhile, the queen, who was an incredibly strong woman, she held herself as best as she could, even though I know she was heartbroken after her husband passed away. Fortunately, though, before she passed away, the Jubilee did add some nice pleasant distractions from the family woes, although the queen was actually quite ill at that time, in spite of claims by Harry and Meghan that she was down on the floor playing with their invisible children. So the result of this difficult time period was 2 funerals, a jubilee, and the coronation of a new king, and it was all very close together. These events were big affairs that required absolute perfection. Since Charles, William, and Catherine were very necessary to officiate in each, they didn't have much time to deal with their own feelings of bereavement. And I watched each and every royal event on television, and I paid a lot of attention to the young Wales couple. I do remember thinking that Catherine was gorgeous, and she looked so regal, so elegant, even though she did look a bit thin. and I could tell that maybe there was something going on because I noticed dark circles under her eyes, and I usually don't notice that. But I thought, okay, she's got to take care of her kids and she's got to attend to her royal duties. She has a lot on her plate. Now, as for William, he looked a little stressed out, but he was still composed as always, and Charles looked absolutely destroyed, although sometimes he managed to hold himself up with a smile. Now, I could tell Camilla was doing the very best she could to support her husband throughout all of it. So, in total, we are looking at big events that had to have required a lot of time, effort, and certainly stress on part of the key royals and their staff, too. I also suspect that it is very possible that the three royals were already experiencing some health concerns, but because of the weight of the tasks that needed to be carried out, they probably had to put these concerns aside until later on. Meeting and greeting dignitaries from all around the globe, I mean, that's an impressive feat. Would it be hard to believe that these three individuals could possibly be suffering from a little bit of burnout? I mean, so much fatigue and also physical health concerns. We're talking about human beings here. We are not talking about robots. Now, maybe in the case of Catherine, maybe she really did suffer some type of breakdown and she also needed major surgery. And maybe not, but who knows? And again, it's really not our business. Is it really necessary for the media to know every little thing about the royal family during a time when they really need peace and quiet? I mean, are people really that concerned, or is this an example of morbid curiosity? I am certain that the family members of the late King of Greece know good and well what the reasons were behind William's non-appearance, and I'm sure they are understanding and they're okay with it. When Kensington Palace is ready to give us more information, I'm sure they're going to do that. I also cannot help myself. I got to add in some history here that's going to present a clearer picture, I hope, of how normal and ordinary the situation really can be. This information can be found on Google under Widowhood of Victoria. Queen Victoria was an impressive queen to say the least. Nobody wanted to mess with her. Who hasn't heard of her? I mean, really. When her husband Albert passed away when he was 42 years old, she fell into a very deep depression. She experienced longing, yearning, despair for her husband, and even, quote, nightly longings to die. It took 3 years for her to get better, for her to overcome this state of depression. But even then, she, quote, remained in mourning and partial retirement. She didn't really want to perform ceremonial functions expected of her as monarch, and she withdrew to Balmoral in Osborne 4 months out of every year, heedless of the inconvenience and strain that it imposed on the ministers. Now, initially, people were respectful of the Queen's grief, but eventually people grew impatient with the Queen. Nobody could budge the stubborn Victoria, but history has shown that she managed to get a grip on her feelings, and she ended up becoming a very successful monarch, and she certainly made a name for herself. Does some of this sound a little bit familiar? So I think we have got to let the royals deal with their health concerns as comfortably as possible. Otherwise, insane Harry and Meghan might, in their delusional brains, believe that soon they're going to inherit the throne. The last thing we need to see is Harry and Meghan heading over to Britain with the Invisibles in tow, expecting to become king and queen. And you, what do you think about the information that I offered? Let me know in the comments and let's discuss this couple together. Don't hesitate to press the like button because YouTube's algorithm prioritizes videos with many likes. And besides that, please subscribe to Kate Middleton and the Queen channel to not miss any new videos. Goodbye, and I'll be back to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.